top assignment as we go into classwork. Hunter, do I get your undivided attention? Because it seems like you're a bit distracted right now. Thank you. So we're in ancient civilizations, Mesopotamia, as opposed to early man. So lesson 1, geography of Mesopotamia. In that, you've got 3 things posted. The first is this Mesopotamia essential question. It's on a poplet. So I would like you to go into lesson 1 and click on Mesopotamia essential question or essential Q. So you go into so this is a Padlet, sorry, not a poplet, it's a Padlet in ancient history, middle school, period 3, ancient civilizations, Mesopotamia, then the Mesopotamia essential Q. You click on that. Then it brings you to this Padlet. And you're going to start generating prior knowledge. You go through and you answer these 3 questions. What do you know about the geography of where we live? What are the features of Sacramento area or California or Western US, etc.? What are the features? And once again, geography is the nature and relative arrangement of places and physical features. They're the mountains, the deserts, rocks, soil, rivers. So what do you know about the geography of where we live? What's going around Sacramento? So you click on Mesopotamia essential Q. And then you click on the add button to add to this column. Answer this question by clicking on the add to this column. Answer this question by clicking on the add to this column. Sorry, Caden, if you go, you got to go. So you got to see a lot more than just 2 people typing at this time. Okay.
It's glitch. It's really bad.
So I'm going to break us off into rooms of like 4 or 5 and then watch as you kind of share your ideas and kind of talk so we're not all in one big group. Okay. So we're going to break off into a couple different rooms to answer these questions. What do you know about the geography, which is like the mountains, deserts, rocks, and soil of California, of the Sacramento area, of Western USA? What do you know about what is surrounding us? So you're answering these 3 questions on Padlet by clicking on the add post to this column. So I'm going to send us off into different rooms. Okay, so Mesopotamia, about 3000 BCE to 500 BCE, which is before current era, which is when we kind of started at 0, before the current era of our history. So we're in history. We're not prehistory because now we're starting to have them write down what's going on. We are collecting their artwork. We're seeing them use stone. And I guess the most important thing to remember is that this is not like the first civilization and then Egypt started and then Babylonia started. They all were forming at the same basic times, but in just different areas. So they overlapped a lot. So that's something to remember. It's not just linear. It didn't go, it was Mesopotamia, they died off, and then Egypt existed. They died off, and then Babylon existed. And then the Greeks existed. They were all happening at the same time, but at different speeds. That's history. And so when we're looking at it, look at the time. They overlap each other a lot. So what was going on in Mesopotamia, Egypt was also developing at different speed based on their geography, what they had access to. So we've gone through and we've asked these questions. So we've done the Padlet. You know, now what do you already know about geography and what you already answered? So here's what you're going to learn. This is why we're learning it. So you're going to learn about the rise of the first civilizations, Mesopotamia, and then the development of empires in the Fertile Crescent. That's going to be Babylon and Egypt. Those are some of the oldest civilizations on Earth. So why does it matter to you? The people of Mesopotamia built one of the world's first great civilizations. So even though they lived long ago, their life experiences were similar to those of people today. We have different technology, but we live daily lives similarly. The Mesopotamians planted crops, traded for items they needed, and kept written records about important events such as marriages and business transactions. So we can track how we developed in time. So how will you learn? How you know what you learned? So by the end, you're going to be able to describe the structure of early societies and contributions those societies made in arts, science, technology, and government. They figured it out, so we don't have to today. So that's kind of what we're learning about. Now, Mesopotamia, 3000 before current era to 500 before current era. This is a general map of the area. So Mesopotamia kind of was their civilization that kind of stretched from the Mediterranean Sea, Persian Gulf. And you had two rivers running along it, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Egypt kind of happens around down here. Rome is no, this is Asia Minor, so Rome would be, yeah. Rome is up here in Italy. So the Fertile Crescent is this big orange, but this is all because you had the rivers running through, and they're dropping silt, they're dropping nutrients, fish, keeping this all green and happy. Sumar is kind of this area where the two rivers meet, and it's very pleasant, very good stuff. So Mesopotamia extended from the Mediterranean Sea and ran along the Euphrates River and the Tigris River. So the Sumerians were the first settlers in this region. And so remember, they all came in from Africa. And so you could probably assume, because you come in from Africa, these were the first they felt it was really good to settle here. And so they got there first and they started building first. Growing up, we played the game called Age of Empires. We played all these. You land, you start building. Build, build, build. You get there early, you build, you get the first chance to build. And the longer you get to build, the faster you can go and the more you can do. Egypt was just advanced, even more advanced. To answer the question of why the Greeks were so advanced, is just because they're up here. They're up in Asia Minor. So they were very soon after, they were building for a long time. And they had ocean on all sides, so they had a lot of access to fish. They had a lot of rivers. They had a lot of wood, stone quarries. So what you have access to is what you can use to build. What you can mine real easily. If you can get it easily, you can use it. That's some background knowledge. So the Fertile Crescent, which is this orange here, provided setting for the development of numerous early civilizations. So these are where the city-states. So instead of having like a whole country, like one city was its own nation. One city was its own state. That city kind of extended out, but it was mostly focused around that town. That city was the civilization. So you had a bunch of different cities over the area, but they were all in charge of themselves. There wasn't one connected empire. We don't really see that until Rome. So you have these city-states, which are, if you want to go back to, we'll talk about the Greeks later, but it's Athens, Sparta, Crete. So they weren't one society, but they were a part of a civilization with different city-states ruling themselves. So the Persians in the Persian Gulf, Mediterranean Sea and Caspian Sea up here, are salty, and only rivers and a few smaller lakes provide good water for irrigation and agriculture. So the Arabian Desert over here covers about 900,000 square miles. So it's about 4 inches of rain per year. So the only civilizations that really could crop up are along these rivers, which are fresh water, because you get dehydrated if you drink salt water. So most people in the region live near the rivers. Just like today, we really stick close to the water, and fresh water dictates when and where our civilizations are. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Using the previous two slides, what large bodies of water borders the eastern part of the Fertile Crescent? Once again, never, up top, never eat salty worms. North, south, east, west. North, east, southwest, sorry. So what body of water is happening over here? That is the Mediterranean Sea. So the first answer is the Mediterranean Sea. I gotta get a better mouse. So the large body of water borders the eastern part of the Fertile Crescent, and that is going to be the Mediterranean Sea over here. It's all right, Gregory. It happens from time to time. We're recording, so if you need to go back to this lesson, you can. Next, what geographic features separate the east and western parts of the Fertile Crescent? So once again, east is over here. Sorry. West is over here. East here, west over here. So what feature separates the east side from the west side? What happens from the east side to the west side? What feature do you think separates the two? It's blue. It's written in blue. Usually very hard to cross. Will kill you if you're, playing the Oregon Trail. You got the rivers. Yep, so as Dylan called it out, you got the two rivers. So you got the two rivers, the Tigris, and the, I can never remember how to spell it, give me a second, Euphrates, there we go. Euphrates. Two rivers, separate the two. The Tigris and the Euphrates. And so that is separating us out from this side to that. And we can't just build bridges, we're building bridges, we're getting to that point, but these rivers really do protect your other sides because they can't cross it easily. You have to go up and around a lot of the time. So here's the more to you. Why do you think many cities in Mesopotamia developed near rivers? Dylan's got it, fresh water. So they needed fresh water. So you got fresh water. What else do you think could have happened? What else do you think helps out a lot?
Food. Food.
So with food, we got fish.
Food.
Yeah, food. Yep, fresh water. Ooh, fish and water for crops. I like that. So I'm jumping around too much. Boom. Okay, so we got fish and then water for crops. Yeah, because we're focusing on agriculture. That's what really makes a civilization. Because if you can produce your own food, then you really get your population. Yep, I'll stay on this side a bit longer. Okay, now what other areas shown on the map might have been a center of civilization? And why'd you pick that? Okay, so we got the Fertile Crescent, which is right between the Mesopotamian and right between the Mediterranean Sea and the Persian Gulf, because they fall along these two rivers. So what other locations on the map might have been centers of civilization? Oh yeah, so they had lots of trees so they can breathe better. Yep, probably a lot more fresh oxygen. And that's a lot. The Greeks had a lot of pine trees. Italy's got a lot of pine trees. So I was looking at my map. I see this Nile Delta over here in Egypt. It's got a lot of river going. So I'm going to put that down. So I could say Egypt, the River Nile. So you got the River Delta. The River Delta down in Egypt. Because of the spreading out river running into the Mediterranean. So we can say the large body of water that borders the eastern part of the Fertile Crescent. Mediterranean Sea.
You put two W's in Western.
So what was your question? Someone asked to stay on this page a little longer, so I'm giving them a moment. Yes, Jolene, you can. All right. So let's look at this timeline, as it were. How many years did the city-states of Sumer exist before being conquered by Sargon? So you're looking here, And the Sumerians, part of the Mesopotamian civilization, started around 3,200 BCE. So they invented cuneiform writing, which is writing on like clay. So then the rise of Sumer. So then they start 3,000. So we're looking at 3,000. And then we go to Sargon conquers Sumer by 2,340. So what's the difference? We can say the city-state of Sumer existed for, so it was created, the city-states arise in around 3,000. So the city-states of Sumer arise in 3,000, but then are conquered in 2,340. So I'm going to take that away. I'm going to say 3,000 minus 2,340. And you see that as it's going to come out to be 620. Nope. 660 years before Sargon conquered them. Next, how many years did the first Olympic Games, how many years before the first Olympic Games did Hammurabi become king of the Babylon Empire? So then we're looking at, so athletes competed in the first Olympic game down here in the rest of the world, and circa 776 BCE. So we can say Hammurabi became the king of Babylon and so I see it up here that in 1792, before current era, Hammurabi became king of Babylon. It's all the different things because the rest of the world is happening. And so we're jumping. Now we're at, because this will run, and then it jumps down here. Because see how there we go, 2,000, 1,000, then this would be a continuation. So I cut it in half so it all fit on this page. So it looks like the Babylonian king Hammurabi became king of Babylon in 1792, and the first Olympic Games happened in 776. So became king of the empire. And we'll take those away, and we'll say it's 1,000 18. 1,018 years before the Olympic Games, before the first Olympic Games. Olympic Games. All right, so I've given you all the answers for this page. All that's left for you to do is your exit ticket for lesson 1, filling out the forms. and then turn that in for homework. And then you're done for today. All right, now Jolene wants to show something off before we sign out. Otherwise, I have you have got the lunch Zoom meeting in Google Classroom to join us if you would like to. So it's the other room. If you want to eat lunch with us, you can.